everyone. Welcome to the Grove. One Song Grove, that is.
The one song of the Grove. The Grove of one song.
We want to just share a little bit more about how we literally left everything to start this, to be here, to be this, to
Left
become
everything familiar and comfortable and normal.
Yeah. Yes. And it's been a journey, more like this very arduous quest, actually. Like if we both...
love a good quest.
If we both had armor on, you know, for all the nerds that are relevant in the Zelda world, you know.
Questing.
Questing.
No, not that. Not that awesome. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But very different.
Yeah. Very different experience overall.
Yeah. Definitely blood, sweat, and tears.
Definitely a lot of all those three things.
Mostly sweat.
And mostly tears for me, actually. So.
Tiny bit of blood.
Yeah.
Tiny bit of blood. Those thorns. The thorns here.
Yeah, there's a lot of thorns.
They've definitely drawn blood.
Yeah, they have. And they go, the kinds that go through any kind of gloves, really. I mean, you're only seeing a very small fraction, of course, and because a lot of this is underway.
But this used to be just all trees.
Yeah, you couldn't see anything.
We got
really.
a raw patch of land.
Yeah.
Because we thought that would be fun. And it was, but...
It is.
Wow. What a process.
You know, no one really tells you the reality behind taking raw land and forming it into something that's actually like
usable,
workable, and what it's like to really work with contractors today in this world with where craftsmanship has leaked from the core of most beings and businesses.
Especially when we have such creative eyes and want to hold a vision that is very unique to what we want to bring, and that language does not really cross over into the builder contractor world, and they're like, just level everything and just build your house. I'm like, no, we want to keep this like a sacred grove.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Because
we did need to cut down trees.
And they're
did
right
need
there.
to uproot a lot of... This grass did not exist. We had to tear up the land, and it was mud for a long time, and we still have some of that. But this grass was all cultivated over time, and we're so thankful to be sitting in it right now. Getting here was certainly a process, that's for sure. But why did we even get here?
So
that's like that's a whole conversation, right?
That's really what we're here to talk about, is like the arduous quest that began. Mark and I have been together since 2011. And we were in New York City. And so, you know, it was a very different experience, a very different life. You know, and I loved cities because I always wanted to live in a village. And I always thought, man, those are like the closest things to villages.
Not quite.
But it was worthy of an experiment.
It's the idea of like
everything's
convenience,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Things at your fingertip, but it's too much.
Yeah. That New York, But 2016, I got a big, huge call from my soul stream saying, it's time. Are you ready? You got to leave all of this and, you know, 6-figure paychecks and the corporate life that we were both in and we met at marketing agencies and such. And when I said yes, I didn't quite get all the magnitude and the detail of that said quest that would begin. But literally, almost the year after I had said sayonara, Mark came along and started his own quest, left that comfortable paycheck into like what we would call a freelancer life, right? But it was interesting because right after that, I got initiated into the deepest quote-unquote illness that I've never, I mean, it was just like, I was going 1,000 miles an hour and I slammed into a brick wall.
Ouch.
Yeah, I was, you know, and we were together and it was ouchy, you know. I had to like fumble my way. It was like the world was giving me back to myself. And I just had to figure it out because natural wellness practitioners were like, this works for everybody else. Not sure what's wrong with you. Mainstream, of course, was like, I don't know. So anyway, this is what dug us deep into like, man, okay, Like, we're being asked
Something's got to change.
like, be ripped from, like, we've talked about this a lot. Wouldn't you say it's literally in the Matrix films where you're extracting all those plugs from your body. Over here is that six-figure paycheck, that title, that identity. Anyway, it's been a slow unplugging, hasn't it?
So it took many years, and so it was kind of like this slow process.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
It was. Because from that moment of time, that's when we got ripped out of, like, we went through, to try to figure this out. Not only did we rip through our own home of, like, that's got to go, that's got to go, that's got to go, meaning anything that does us harm, any foods, anything. And we just have been on this arduous,
Even like synthetic supplements and vitamins and stuff, and bottled water, or like Brita filters and things that we're told is good, but like, wait, there's way more to this that we need to figure out.
And as soon as we
and change.
We like, as soon as you tear off that first, so you tear off all these layers, right? And then you realize, oh, there's another layer. Oh, there's another. Getting to the center of the Tootsie Pop, really, I think.
It takes 3 licks.
According
to Mr. Owl.
Yeah, Mr. Owl is incorrect.
Mr. Owl is full of shit.
That only, people our age will get that reference.
Well, maybe in the 70s it only took 3 licks. Now it's
3 billion licks.
You need heavy machinery to cut through that. But the real big shift was moving out of New York City, right?
Huge,
so we knew that the big city life, as amazing as it can be in a lot of ways, with the culture and opportunity and just vibrancy, and there's a lot going on there that is great, but it's just not sustainable long term. So we knew that. But where do you go? That was the big thing.
That was our big analysis point.
So for us, we didn't go straight to this. I think that would have been too much of a big culture shock. So we kind of downsized.
This is more my roots.
Slowly, right, into smaller market, and we downsized.
Lily pad to lily pad to lily pad.
Whereas there's people that have done from big cities to small towns, like bam, and it's
just shocking.
That can work, but you gotta really.
You have to be ready for that level.
And we were not. So we downsized slowly. So that required a lot of moving, a lot of uprooting, a lot of figuring
There's
out.
There's been lots of moving in my life, especially.
And that adds to stress. Having to find places to live, and security deposits, and moving costs, and packing and unpacking. And when you have animals or family or whatever, you're uprooting everything and everyone, and it's a lot on the system.
There was also a vibration. I felt this anyway, and I know we've talked about this. I didn't want to root. It felt more comfortable being a gypsy, going from place to place to place, because
you get that kind
rooting,
of refresh, right? That
it's
refresh
a refresh.
Every few
it's
years,
new
and no commitment
things,
to something long term.
And you don't have, and I didn't want to play. It's playing the game. I felt like you're playing the game of the mortgage. You're playing the game of playing a game, and it's a game.
And getting heavily in debt and all that,
which
is not something we really wanted. But
no, and yet
here we are. But there's a purpose for this, because we held a vision of what we wanted. We actually did a little feng shui exercise of drawing your vision onto paper, actually taking it out of the brain and putting it onto paper. That's the visualization to manifestation process. And we drew out kind of like how we had it in our heads of what it could look like. We knew we wanted water, or we knew we wanted a stream or something like that. And there's a stream here. And we knew we wanted to be X amount of minutes away from the town, and we are. And we knew we wanted privacy, and we have that, but we knew we wanted just certain abilities to build things on the property, which we have. And it really did work out very amazingly.
It looked literally
very similar.
Contextually, like where things are placed, it's the same that what we drew. So you're on the right track.
Changes and the realities of what you can and cannot do change, but you got to run with that stuff, right? You can't be so fixated on a vision
No.
that you add roadblocks into there because you can't do what you want to do. You have to be fluid and flexible. That's the flowing part of forging flow, right?
So the long story short concept here that we're working with is to do what our souls, spirits, streams, breath are compelling us to do in a highest of potential way. It requires leaving all things unfamiliar and all things comfortable to get in to the new skin of what our true path is and what harmony can feel like in the body, and when we anchor that into the earth and when we become so in rhythm with the natural world that there is no delineation between us and that tree, us and that blade of grass, us and the soil, us and the stars, us and the sky. That is the feeling that we're creating here, because it is what it is. Like, that is what we feel. And it's been I don't even know how to say the word profound in a more profound way, because I don't know a more profound word than profound. But if there was one,
scrumtralescent.
Yes. Well, let's talk about, before we close, like this extra layers that have come off even further, because even doing the creative work that we were doing for so long, we got pulled into diplomas and certifications and all kinds of things that have pulled us completely into the natural healing world, and that required yet another stripping, of which has been mostly for you in the last year, which is, of course, for both of us, because there is, we're here, hello, but,
It's all in the same pot.
It's all in this, yeah. But, yeah.
It was definitely what's the word? Transformation doesn't quite cover it.
I would say a nice ripping.
Inverting.
Reverting.
Reverting.
Putting it right side up again.
Yeah, because I was in, I don't know if I'd call it the corporate life, but I was in a career path that was steady and good.
But as a freelancer.
And lucrative and consistent and comfortable. And even though it was in a freelance capacity, it was very consistent and worked well for us for a long time, many, many years. And there's just been internal struggles in that industry, in every industry right now, as of 2026 and beyond. I'm sure there's a lot of change happening across the board.
Yeah.
We can say for better, but in the moment, it's very disruptive.
Yeah.
It's very uncertain. It's very confusing for a lot of people. We're talking mass layoffs. We're talking major pivots in careers.
So thousands upon thousands of people getting let go.
Loss of income. We're talking fear and uncertainty of how you're going to afford your lifestyle, no matter how modest or how extravagant you have.
Either way,
you have a level playing field that gets just crushed because of an instant, whether it's a layoff or just a lack of finding work, whatever it is. And that brings a lot of identity crisis issues because you're tied to something for so long.
The titles.
This is what I've done.
Yeah.
So I got to continue to seek that, right? I got to keep on finding jobs and tapping into my network, and I got to keep going after the thing that I know, because what else do I know? I'm not good at anything else. You hear that a lot. I don't know how to do anything else. I've done one thing my whole life. And that is just so limiting. That is literally self-defeating. And there is so much untapped potential in all of us that we are unaware of because we haven't sought it out. Well, and that's when you have to do that deprogramming. You have to do that
unbecoming.
peeling away of the layers, the shell, the protective armor that you put on, metaphorically, out here in the thorns physically, but in life, metaphorically, you put on armor, and you have to take that stuff off and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that is one of the hardest things for people to do, being vulnerable, because you're exposing yourself.
Well, when you say people, you're really talking about yourself in the moment, too.
Myself, for sure. But people in general, because I've had this conversation with a lot of others that are in similar situations. But it definitely was uncomfortable for me of, well, I got to figure out a new path now. What might that be? And there are always ways to find transferable skills that you have within you that you can apply to something else. But you got to get creative. You got to think. You got to bounce things off other people and not just keep it in yourself. Yeah. And be willing to explore and dive in head first to something. And that's exactly what I had to do. And that was for me Tai Chi and Qigong and that world of intentional movement. And that was so multi-layered and multifaceted because that particular modality of natural healing helped me decompress, helped me relax the nervous system in a way that helped me become more clear.
Yeah.
And focused and aware and hopeful. But there's nothing easy about trying to be a Qigong teacher and actually trying to make a living. So you got to get creative and figure out how to make a business out of things. And you have to do that. You have to plug back into reality to some degree.
Sure.
Because we have this land to pay for. We have mouths to feed. And,
Yeah, and the holding the vision of what will be here, which is, educational. It's an educational hub, an apothecary, all these things that we're creating to bring, the whole container of vibrational medicine, which was really all of my work and all of Mark's work together under this, umbrella of Forge and Flow, but under a larger umbrella of the Sacred Soul Health Ministry. We are building a ministry of health and healing and wellness and a sanctum because it's a place that is where you're free from intrusion, and that's what we all want. Just a sacred space where we're not being intruded upon every single minute of every single day. So that's really what we're creating. And to hold that vision while going through all these roadblocks and thorns and muck and goo and beauty and harmony is a wild freaking ride. I think
sure is
the best way to say
is.
it.
So you have to forge forward, but not so much that you break
burn
yourself
out,
right?
Or others around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And forget to breathe and take in the beauty around you, and that comes the flowing part. So it truly is balance.
It is. It's a dance too, a very primordial dance.
And that's what we're all about with all the practices we do. Qigong, we're talking about balance all the time. We're talking about mineral rebalancing. We're talking about balanced diets. We're talking about, work-life balance. We're talking about all these ways to not be stuck in extremes.
Yeah.
Which is what the world pushes us or pulls us into all of the time.
Yeah.
So we got to come back whole and then stretch out a little bit.
Yeah.
And come back whole and stretch out a bit. Kneading that proverbial dough that is our life.
Our magic dough.
Yeah, magic dough.
Just so you know, we're in this too, and every day we use the sacred practices that we talk about.
But yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's One Song Grove.
It's a lot. Please check out forgeandflow.org, and we got a lot of information on there. More about our story, more about our vision and our offerings, and ways for you to join us on this journey in this community to bring your challenges, your gifts, anything that you have to offer and share, anything you need clarity on, or just a little bit of solidarity and realizing you're not the only one that's going through these major transformations and processes.
And
we're here to not just guide, but to be part of your life and your journey and your world as well.
It's unbecoming to become what you truly are underneath all the noise.
Yeah. So
We'll
come
see you
forge
next
and
time.
flow with us. We'd love to have you, love to talk to you, love to meet you.
Yeah.
Until then, keep on flowing, keep on forging.